Hi, my name is Sheila Holdford. I am a member of the First Unitarian Church of Columbus, and I was asked by Reverend Marion to come up with an easy recipe for cupcakes. And I thought about it, and sometimes when you make cupcakes from scratch, you need to have pastry flour or cake flour. And I'm not sure how well stocked people's pantries are at this point, so I suggested that we do a muffin that could be very flexible, and you could put a lot of things in it to satisfy the taste for you and the people who might be eating it. So it's very easy, it's flexible, and you can do a lot of things with it that will meet everybody's dietary needs. So I have some flour in here, but I'm using a whole wheat flour, pastry flour. I don't know how available these things are right now, but I have a whole bunch. So I have some in here, and I just need to add 1 more cup. So I generally use a spoon to aerate my flour, and then I pour it in my cup and level it off. And this makes sure that you have the right amount of flour. I usually fill it a little bit more than that. And then I take my knife, and that's 1 cup. So now I have my appropriate amount of flour in here, and I'll just get this out of the way. We're gonna mix all of our dry ingredients and then all our wet ingredients and then combine them together. So the next thing that we're going to do is a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. This is dark brown sugar. You can also use light brown sugar. You can use all different things. And I always kind of put it inside the cup, inside the bag, and sort of smush it down. This is where you want it packed, whereas the flour you don't. So that's a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. And then we're gonna add some spices. I decided the hardest part was deciding what kind of muffins to make. So I just decided to make a carrot, pecan, and raisin muffin, but you could really do anything, and we'll talk about some of the different add-ins that you could use. So I'm going to add the spices now. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and a little bit of ginger, 1 teaspoon of ginger. You know what, that was a tablespoon of ginger, of cinnamon. I'm going to take some of that out. But I don't want it to be too cinnamony. Okay, that's about right. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ginger, a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, and with some of these warm spices, I like to add a little bit of nutmeg. You can use a pinch of nutmeg. I have some cloves of nutmeg, and I just use my grater that I cannot find. There it is. This is one of my favorite kitchen tools, a microplane. And you can just add a little bit of this. This adds a nice warm spiciness. That might be a 1/4 to 1/2 of a teaspoon. And save that for the next time. And I'm gonna just mix this all together. So some of the, I looked at a number of different recipes for making muffins and comments that people had sent in, and this is very forgiving. You could use any kind of a flour, a gluten-free flour, an oat flour. You could use, you can use, my wet ingredients are going to be milk, and you could use oat milk, you could use 1%, 2% whole milk, which is 4%. So in here I'm going to add my wet ingredients, my 1 cup of milk at room temperature. Again, you could use a dairy milk or non-dairy milk. This is 1/3 cup of melted coconut oil. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. That's going to go on the list because we need a little bit more of that. 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. So this does not even need any eggs. And then I have my flour. Actually, I have more vanilla, so I'll be right back. I'll go get it. So we have our wet ingredients. Oh, I needed some salt here too. Half a teaspoon of baking soda and some salt. I'll put that in the dry ingredients, half a teaspoon. And 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Level it off at the top. So we have our dry ingredients and our wet ingredients. Actually gonna mix these together, and then I'll show you what toppings I'm going to use, or what fillings I'm going to use. you don't want to over mix your muffin mix, so you just want to kind of very gently stir it until you don't see any more lumps of flour. Because if you over mix it, it can get a little dry. This will make a dozen or 12 muffins. If you don't have a muffin tin, you could also put it in a loaf pan. We just need to watch the cooking time and either bring it out when the muffins are, when a toothpick inserted comes out clean. I'm gonna add carrots, and you can buy grated carrots, but it is just so, I'm gonna show you how easy it is to grate them yourself. I've got a box grater, so you don't have to have a mixer or a food processor or any kind of fancy equipment. And this will make about a cup of carrots. So if you choose to make a different kind of a muffin, you could do a cup of blueberries, a cup of banana, mashed banana, any other kind of fruit or nut. You could use dried cranberries, or if you have extra cranberries left over from the winter, you could make this with cranberries. Okay, so I always said that baking is a good thing to do when you have a lot of emotion or you're angry, because this is, you know, the person that cut you off getting off the highway or something like that happened. It's a good way to get out positive way to get out your energy. Can you pause that for a minute? And we're back. I just took a little bit of time to grate my carrot. I had two kind of normal, big size carrots, and I stopped because I think this is more than 1 cup of carrots, but I'm just gonna add all of it in there. Again, this is a very flexible recipe. So there's all my carrots, about 1 cup of grated carrots, and it really didn't take too long to grate. Then I'm going to add a half a cup of pecans. The original recipe suggested walnuts, but I don't have any. And certainly if you're not allergic, you don't want to use any nuts. And then I'm going to add a half a cup of raisins. Again, if you don't like raisins, don't use them. Some other add-ins you could use coconuts, you could use chocolate chips, or butterscotch chips. Really, the variety that you can use really is only limited by your imagination and what you have in your pantry. Nuts, half a cup of nuts. Oops. And we're gonna just mix this in. You can buy grated carrot, but when I'm baking with carrots, I prefer to grate it myself, because when you get it from the store, it has something dusted on it, so it doesn't necessarily kind of cook and melt in like a regular carrot would. So this is I also read a couple of replies that the thicker your batter is, the more tender and light your biscuit or your muffin is going to be. So this is a pretty thick dough, And I've already got my, get this out of the way. I have already sprayed my pan, and I've preheated my oven to 350. And I'm going to use the easiest way to get even numbers of muffins is to use some kind of a scoop. So this is I'd be gypped if I got an ice cream scoop this small, but what size is this, Jack?
I have to look on it.
The sizes are on it. It might be a 30.
Probably a 30, 35, yeah.
30 or 35.
Sizes on that scooper that goes across the little slide thing that's inside the cup.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I wouldn't. Don't look. Don't bother.
Yeah. Okay. So these will bake for about 20 to 22 minutes. It took about 10 minutes to put this together. So it's really an easy, forgiving recipe. And ooh, I've got extra, so that's yummy. I can, the nice thing about being a baker is if there's any left over, it's the baker's choices that he or she gets to eat it all. I might not have any extra. Maybe it's pretty good size. Slate, I'll put it in there. Now we're going to put this in the oven. I'm going to check them after 20 minutes, but they may go anywhere 22 to 25 minutes depending on your oven. Hey Google, set a timer for 20 minutes.
Okay, 20 minutes. Starting now.
So it's easy. You can use any kind of fruit. You could use maybe canned pumpkin. You could use from frozen strawberries or raspberries, any kind of frozen fruit. I would leave them frozen so that they don't melt because it can get kind of messy. You can use the flavors that you like. You can use coconut. You can use all sorts of nuts or no nuts. You can use different kinds of milks. I will post the recipe. Happy baking, and hopefully we'll get to see you all in person real soon. Bye.